You cannot overstate the impact of something as simple as going to the White House and watching a movie with the President of the United States and 4 or 5 other people, or going to Camp David to play tennis. Those are things that growing up in East Texas I never would have thought about. I'm Ed Emmett. I'm fellow in Energy and Transportation Policy at the Center for Energy Studies at the Baker Institute at Rice University. Immediately before I joined Rice University, I had been Harris County judge for 12 years. But my real background has been in transportation policy, intersecting with politics a lot, because I was on the Transportation Committee in the Texas House of Representatives. I was President Bush number 41's appointment to the Interstate Commerce Commission, and I've run trade associations relating to transportation policy. When I was first running for state representative in 1978, a large part of my district was the Kingwood area where I lived, and they wanted an overpass over Highway 59. So running for office, I said, elect me, I'll get an overpass. And I won. And I had no clue how to get an overpass. So I went to the Speaker of the Texas House and I said, I don't care what else you do, but I have to be on the Transportation Committee. That's how it all started. And so that's what got me involved in transportation policy, truck deregulation, later at the Interstate Commerce Commission, railroads. And then when I was president of the National Industrial Transportation League, that represented all the shippers in the country. I got heavily involved in ocean shipping too. So it's been a great career, and it all started from just a little promise made in a political campaign. Fundamentally, I have this view that the transportation system of the country is like the veins and arteries in the human body. It determines the health of the country. And so if that transportation system doesn't work efficiently, the economy doesn't work. So that's really my interest in transportation. We saw recently when people talked about the supply chain broke down and you weren't able to get products in. Well, that's a very complicated thing, but to address those concerns, we have to make sure that all the transportation modes in the future are going to be able to operate efficiently. And how do you do that? Well, they're going to have the right fuels. But let me give you one example. If you go out on the street and you talk to people today, they'll basically say it's a binary choice. You're either going to have electric or you're going to have petroleum products. That's not true. So our job is to make sure not only the policymakers and the transportation providers know, but the public begins to understand just all the factors that go into the equation. Because when they go buy those items at the grocery store, how do they get there? If the transportation system doesn't work, they're not going to have those items to buy. My role, because I do not claim great technical knowledge, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a scientist, but I have a good policy background. So my role is to try and tie together the policy aspect, the technical aspect, which we've got some great experts here at the Center for Energy Studies, with the policymakers and those in the transportation industry who have to make it happen. And fortunately, I've run trade associations that represent a lot of those people. I've worked with the transportation providers over the years. So hopefully I can tap into a lot of the expertise that's here at the Center for Energy Studies and tie it into the policy and make it all work. Sounds easy, right?